task of exposing good works in various education institutions. And so today I went to Kitala Secondary School, where I met the head teacher, who has happened to be a friend and a close ally for some now around 3 years. I have been following Joseph for some time, and I'm impressed by what he does in his school. One is developing the school in the different spheres, and so I felt that I must expose part of what he does for our friends out there to see that things can be done even in smaller or small schools, not only in big schools. So welcome, Joseph, and thanks for the work being done in Kitala Secondary School.
I'm glad to meet you, especially at my school where I work.
Yes.
And I put a lot of energy.
I know.
Yes.
You are a unique head teacher that I always find you whenever I just bump into a school. I normally don't give you a call, but I always find you here. Thank you for the commitment and for the zeal. Not very many head teachers have it. Yes. Today particularly, I was impressed when I walked. Is it the I don't know what are you trying to construct, but I was impressed at the level in which it is. Last time I came here, it was last year when we were organizing the dinner, it was not there quick. Where do you get the resources? How have you been able to mobilize? And could you please tell us about Kitala Secondary School for the last 6 years?
I joined this school in July 2018. At that time, the school had a lot of challenges, and one of them was room for expansion.
Yes.
And normally, as managers, what we normally do is we work with the committees of the school.
Yes.
One of them is board, another is PTA. The government recognize that PTA is there, but board takes over the management of the school. So the first thing was needs assessment. What was I supposed to do in this school? What were the challenges? And we put them in needs assessment. The first was land. There was no land. I understand the government returned 600 million back to the treasury because the school had no space to construct its classrooms. And basing on that one, I shared with the committees, and the first assessment was to look for room for expansion. Look for land.
They had given you money, but allocated for building, not buying land.
Not buying land. And it was returned back under World Bank Adoptable Lending Program, APR1 Phase 1. So that money was returned. So when the former teacher handed over the school to me, he mentioned about that challenge, and I had to organize a needs assessment with the Board of Governors. So I had to share, and the first thing was to look for room for expansion.
Who are the foundation body? Couldn't church allocate you more land?
The foundation body of the school is Katavi Town Council.
So it is a public school?
It is a public school.
Not religious affiliated?
It is not affiliated to any religion. All regions work for the development of the school. So Katavi Town Council, when they received me, I also involved them. What was the total acreage of land at the school? They told me it was 4, but on the ground it was less than 1 acre. It was not even an acre. So I had to call in the stakeholders, and we see what we could do. The first thing was the students were going to Kisuri, St. Savio, for ICT lessons.
Yes.
And it was inconveniencing a lot in the school.
So they could do foot, or they could use a kamunya, something like that?
There is no kamunya, there is no vehicle, so they would walk on foot.
Yes.
To Kisumi. It's a distance of around 3 kilometers from here. I looked at that one, and we shared and said, no. Let us use the computer fee they were paying there and secure it for buying land. This was 20,000. And we are on 20,000. That's where we organized parents and we bought that land.
Yes, how big was 1,000? Then we could go by numbers and we find out how much it would have actually made.
At that time, the enrollment was around 900 students. And I would not bother about the enrollment, but the discipline was also terrible. They were rowdy and indisciplined students here. However, I tried to convince the committees that we need our own computer lab. We need our own computers in the school.
So it was one of the things you saw?
One of the things we saw. And where would we place the computers now? That the classes were full. In one stream you will find 120 students. So we agreed with the board that the first thing we do is to collect some little money and secure land. And the first plot of land we purchased was that one behind the administration block.
Oh, this one which has papyrus.
Yes. Walling. We call it air conditioning.
So you were in papyrus.
So we bought this land for starting with 2019. It was estimated at 85 million, and we accomplished payments in the third term. So 2020 first term we raised the rooms, these temporary rooms you call papyrus, came in to solve and to decongest the big numbers, so that we can have a room where we can place our computers. So that one was done, and I thank God the parents were very cooperative after receiving me, and they contributed and we bought that land, 85 million. Then we could put up the structures, the temporary structure where we're praying from, the temporary rooms that you see in the papyrus. And then our neighbor informed us that he wanted to sell land and to migrate to another place. So we had also to secure that land. So in all, we have secured 2 plots of land for the school.
The other one is how much?
The other one is 80, and this one is 85. That one was expensive because there is a small house. That is the contribution so far we got from the parents.
Now, Mr. Teacher, last time I came, the other building was not there.
Yes.
And so I would love to know, or would love our viewers to know, how you have been able to raise that building in a very short time. In such a US, this is a US
school.
US school. Yes, how have you been able to raise money to have that building?
For the computer, we logged and sent messages to our board members that we need to get somebody to come in and help. One of the board members, I would like to thank the town council, the foundation body, nominated for us members who would come in and develop the school. One of them is Mr. Senyondwa Ronald, a Rotarian, who connected us to the Rotary clubs of Garuga and Wevaja, and another Rotary club of California. So when they came here, we shared and we saw, we realized what we have contributed. The parents have bought this land. We informed the government that we need buildings, but what came in first was Rotary to come and save us. The Rotary Club of Wevaja and the Garuga. Garuga first convinced the Rotary Club of Wevaja to come in and help us. So we were asked to have the plans for that place, and because the Rotary Club of California had promised to construct that 27 classrooms. When they came here and visited us, it was funny for the students to be in the papyrus rooms
in such an urban area.
But there was a savior to the environment and to the space.
Yes.
So the Rotary Club of Webaja requested us to fund the building, and the school co-funds it. And we are so blessed that the governor by then who was coming in, Mr. Francisco, the governor, past governor of district in 1911, was interested in education. So when he also joined the school, came to our school, he said, no, you put up the buildings, 4 rooms. I was very grateful that they are coming in to help us. But I looked at the quality of the building they are going to construct here, and I said, no. I called them back and I said, please, can you come and join us with the board? And we agree on which type of building we're going to put across. So when they came, we converted in this office, and I informed them, together with the board, that the place was so expensive for us. The only type of building you can put in that place to save and to reflect on the amount of money we were paid was a storage building, which they accepted, and the board accepted to co-fund. And take it to Solomon. The board was very cooperative in looking for students, that the enrollment went up from 9 to 1,200 to now 1,600. And we said that for the construction, it was launched on 3rd July 2023. That building, you see, it was launched on 3rd July 2023. All Rotarians converted here, and we started the work. The foundation, we laid the foundation, and construction started. I would like to thank those members in the presidents of Rotary Club of Garuga and Webaja, spearheaded by the governor himself, Francisco Semwanga, of this district.
Yes, Joseph, I want to also appreciate that some schools find challenges out there because probably they lack what we call networking and skills to learning. But off from that, you must have come from a bigger school. I know you came from a bigger school. How
not bigger?
Bigger than this?
Yes, humble schools.
By number? Could you please tell us about your journey even before here, because you were working somewhere before you came in here? And how did you feel? How did you really maneuver to accept that I'm coming from the other one and now I have to go to... There is what we call from grass to grace. But this time around it was from grace to maybe grass. We are going to grass.
Yes.
And how did you maneuver to handle that kind of transition, where you were coming from a slightly bigger institution to now a low-profile institution?
In education and promotion, started from Mbarara Archdiocese. By that time, we had Archbishop Paul Bachenga, the late. The school was in his diocese. I would like to thank that diocese because I went there as a teacher, and I came from there as a head teacher. It's not easy, but I am sure I melted to what I am now. There was no favor because I had no relative or brother in Mbarara diocese. But what I would do, I can inform you, Solomon, when I reached Mbarara, I was very hard working. My hard work paid me into what I am now. St. John's Nyawina, we found around 200 students, they were less. But by the time I left there as a head teacher, we were almost reaching 1,500. So when I joined the Bihanga Community Secondary School, which we call Grace, it was also a challenge.
You joined as a head teacher?
As a head teacher.
You're from
St. John's Nyawina.
You were a head teacher already in
Yes.
St. John's?
Yes. But when I reached Bihanga, it was from Grace. St. John's was Grace. Then Bihanga was grass.
Again.
Yes. But the environment, those people, the PTA, the board members, Honorable Kwasize, worked very hard with us. Honorable Bidaro is now a member of parliament from Bwezu, was a good person for us. And, you know, the other side, the channels were open, channels to connect to government and so on. Though here the channels are blocked. When I talk that politically, you understand.
Yes.
So Honorable Bidaro helped us to secure, to bring the president to Bihanga, and the president left some money for us to construct A-level classroom. A-level was not there, but I had already started the A-level. So the enrollment grew from less than 200, and by the time we left Bihanga, it was 800 students with the A-level, fully fledged A-level, with the construction completed. So when I joined the school, the budget for Bihanga was bigger than the budget here, and which was not in place even. Because I started working here, I found no budget. I said, no, how can you run the school without a budget? So we started working on the budget now for 2019 and for the 2018 third term. But I thank the cooperation I met here because we really worked. And the lobbying is my actually greatest talent and potential. We must work with people because people have the money. When the Rotary Club of Garuga and the Bebaja joined us, I welcomed them. And they are a testimony on how we have been welcoming them here. Cooperation with them on how to build this school. I thank also the past governor, Emmanuel,
for having helped you.
Yes.
And put up this.
Past governor.
Yes. Now, other attributes you have in Kitala that you did find here that have really changed the way things happen to be in Kitala today.
A function lab. I found it constructed by disorganized into a classroom, but now it is a lab. Because the lab is supposed to be a lab, not a classroom. Though one is a subset of the other. But the temporary structures have helped to decongest. People relax, go for prayers. You know, God's intervention is very necessary in a challenging environment like this one. The other structures are there, the temporary structure, but mainly the first one of this kind that story building, which is providing now a clean environment for learning, safe environment for learning, the best environment for which students cannot say, especially our privileged children, they are underprivileged children. They call them underprivileged because they are children of the poor. And we give them the same education as those one in privileged schools.
Yes.
Yes. So the plans are very clear. One we want to put here. I understand with the cooperation of our government, this one will come to realization.
So we have a new plan.
We have Rotary Club. We have constructed the construction of this. Then this is the old building which is there. We shall improve on it and it becomes a T building. And this one is supposed to be in the names of the first foundation body. We shall give it in the honor of the first foundation board of the chairman of the Kitala Town Council. Then others will follow, as body would wish to name it.
Now, Mr. Teacher, according to the story of Kitala, yes, it's a good story, but we need to know the man behind, from childhood to where you are, education and maybe career.
Okay. Chigowantinda.
Hey, just in the urban.
At that time it was a village.
Yes.
Then I joined a primary school in the Igwero district called St. Bonaventure Primary School.
Yes.
Where even my parents shifted.
They shifted from
Chigowantinda to
Bamnanika.
I finished my PLE from there, St. Bonaventure Primary School, Olaji. It was a very good school by then. Up to date, is a good school. Then I joined St. Charles, it's Malaji, senior one. Then I went to Rotary, where I finished in senior 4.
Rotary secondary school.
Secondary school. From there, I joined the Kitala SS school.
You came back?
I came back to Kampala.
It is a day school.
It's a day school. By that time, it was in shifts. I am one of the people who never went to boarding school. My life all through has been day school, but it has helped me because my experience is with people and the environment always. So from there I joined the.
So your family was supportive or?
Very supportive.
Very supportive. What was the occupation of your teacher?
My father was an accountant, and my mother was a business person.
In a family of how many siblings?
In a family of very many people. Because I tell you, extended family. My father, I am number 48 in the family.
What? 48, no, I Catholic?
43, number 43.
And a Catholic?
Number 43. That is my number. So, from there I joined the Uganda Polytechnic College Chambogo, and I did the mechanical engineering, which I accomplished. But when I looked at the amount of money I was getting, it was very little. So I crossed to education.
After qualifying?
Yes.
You went to
education. Education, I-Tech, that was Kapova NTC. I think I joined and I studied for almost 2 years. I finished, then I started teaching. My teaching profession, I joined the Wakata SS, and I realized that there is no money. I went back at West.
Hey, you had joined the Wakata as a teacher.
As a teacher.
And then you realized no money.
There is no money.
Payments. Salary.
The payments are very poor. So I went to Western. So that time, my head of department, Mr. Tuyai Kayo, had connected me to that school. Mbarara. As a project teacher, a senior one. So I worked there, but I got a better school, St. Joseph's.
Was it better than in Ntale, you mean?
At that time, it was the best school in Mbarara.
Nyamitanga?
Yes.
At the diocese?
Yes. But I realized also they were not from government.
Hey.
So the priest who was there by then, Reverend Father, the late Bingana Muntu, sent me to a school in the village called St. John's Senior Secondary School in Abima, which was on government. So I went there.
So Nyamitanga was not a government school?
It is not private.
It is a private institution.
But
it was the best in Mbarara
performance at that time.
Is it still performing well?
It is still performing. But you know there are challenges of competition and the others.
And it is still a church school?
It is still a church school. Then from there I met Mr. Mpaka Jonario, who welcomed me very well. And he showed me chance and cause that we can develop that school. So I started working from there. And I was given the responsibilities. I shared with him that for students to perform, we must start hostels, and he gave me to head those hostels. So I was the head of hostel, and then head of mathematics department, and we started from there. So I worked with that man very well. That when we reached 1999. I shared with him and I said, why don't I go back to Makerere for my degree? I went to Makerere and they admitted me on a degree which is no longer there, I think now, Master Double Main. So I was admitted for education, but the subject was Master Double Main. This subject was not easy for many of those who started it, and I think that's why they scrapped the course. was difficult for many of the learners. And in 2002, I graduated. But 2002, before 2002, I had already taken up very many responsibilities at the school because I was at a level of caretaking deputy head teacher in the school. So I ran for a few years and I was substantively appointed in 2004
as a deputy head teacher.
From there, I worked with another head teacher who came, and Mr. Mpaka had left a legacy. But when he retires, I take over the school.
Oh, he was the new head teacher we were working with.
The head teacher.
Yes.
The former head teacher. Actually, I acted in that school for 2 years, and the diocese had its way to send another head teacher, whom I welcomed and worked with. But because of the challenges I noted also in the school at that time, when enrollment grew up to 2,700, I realized there was a lot of challenges, especially coming from the human resource. The priests, there was a parish led by clinicians, and the chaplain. I cited pressure coming, and we sorted it out with the Archbishop, and the clinician had the school on Sunday, and the others would take it on other days. So that was a challenge. But we worked for the school. We produced the best students in this country. 2002, in fact, the best student was from Bushenyi. Bushenyi district was from our school, Francis Ivansebe, who is now a lecturer and an engineer, water engineer in the northern part of this country.
Oh,
yes.
He's your student?
He's my student. What are the others? Yeah.
That was when you were a deputy teacher or head teacher?
I was a caretaking teacher. We worked for the school and enrollment went up. The school boosted, and in 2010, I was substantively appointed as a head teacher. So we worked in the school. And in 2012,
yes,
I transferred to Bihanga. Because I started working in Nyawina in 1995. Up to 2012. I went to Bihanga.
One school. That was around 17 years.
Yes. But I was teaching in other schools. I was already a UNEBU examiner. I joined the UNEBU examination in 2000, 2021. 2001, we were marking exams in most of those schools, big schools. So I worked with the UNEBU also for 12 years, non-stop, marking the UNEBU examinations. So going back there, I was seen as we used to go for facilitation. And that's how I came to know most of these schools. So I taught in Valley College, I taught in other schools. And the passion for teaching helped me very much to develop other ways of developing these other college schools. Because the students would pass, first of all, students would pass examinations, students were disciplined, students were God-fearing, and it created a good passport for me to work in education.
You have some attributions or tangible things you say apart from the performance and enrollment should really caused these things to happen. What are some of the tangible things you say? We had this during my time as head teacher or during my time as deputy head teacher when I was supporting the retiring head teacher.
The tangible things, the other school is having stored buildings. Those are tangible things. Then the other one is the curiosity of learners to know, the curiosity of the students to know that they are supposed to take on challenging careers in this country. Not only simple careers, once they have the spirit, and they can study from these schools, US schools, and perform equally the same as those in government schools.
Big schools.
Big schools. I think that is very critical in education.
The curiosity.
Yes. Once you empower the positive attitude towards students' achievements, can students achieve in these government schools? That I think is most of the most important thing that has made me continue to move. Because wherever I've gone, students score either at A level or A level.
You move from St. John, is it John?
St. John is Nyawina to Bihanga.
Bihanga.
Yes.
For how long? 6 now or 4 years?
Bihanga is stayed there. It's one of the most difficult districts in this country. Hard to reach.
District?
Yes, it is a hard to reach district.
Where is it exactly?
Bohweju is carved out of Boshenyi district. That's where the west Rift Valley of Uganda starts from. When you go to the other side, you will find Munyaruguru Lake. This national park is in Rwenzori, Queen
Elizabeth?
Yes. But the source of the Rift Valley is Buhweju. So the school was in that valley. We used to call it landing, not traveling. You have landed, you have come to the school. Yes.
Is that an escarpment?
Yeah, escarpment, which is a valley. You would sit from below. You can't sit from up. You sit from below. Yes. So that school, the challenge was, of course, enrollment and the other organization. And performance. You know, parents would like their children to perform, whether they are in US school or in those big schools. That's why some big schools have collapsed and others are taking over. Parents want their children to perform. Scoring. Parents want their children to have discipline. Parents want their children to be smart. And when I went to Bihanga, those are the major core values I started with. Smartness, God-fearing. We had reverends coming from the other Church of Uganda from the parish of Bihanga. They would come. The other one was a community school also. It was not affiliated to any religion. And that one helped me and shaped me that when I joined another school which is public, it is a foregone conclusion. So they had the mass, they had the service, but above all, children also there. What I installed in the Nyawina students is what I also installed in Bihanga students. The curiosity to take on, to learn.
Tasks.
Yeah, taking on challenging tasks. You can become an engineer, you can become a doctor, you can become a priest,
yes.
Can become not only teaching. The minimum should be me, a professional teacher. The maximum is the sky.
But the minimum should
be me. Should be a teacher. A teacher of science, a teacher of arts. The maximum is God's grace upon them. Yes.
So now
I also worked there. Students started getting A's in science subjects. Then after working for 8 years, I realized that I need also to come and serve where I'm born, to work in my home area. And also gather human capital for my retirement.
The social capital
for my retirement. That's why I started organizing my transfer. My transfer actually was aimed at State High School.
Oh, State High School.
Yes. Because by that time, it is in Kororo. By that time, Mrs. Nuhura
was retiring.
And
I remember she retired.
Was my neighbor in one of the schools in Mashuruka. Was retiring. When I approached her, he said, you can come and I hand over the school to you. So I went and worked on the transfer to City High School. By then there was a director, Nsumba Diaz, signed on my file and to send it to the commissioner to process. But in the due process, Kitala had issues, and I am sure they had sent here Headteachers before the retirement of the brother. So when we sat with the permanent secretary, that time Mr. Kakoza, and the commissioners. They said, yeah, you money from the village, you first go to Wakiso, local government. You know the other one is a city.
Okay.
A local government and the city are not the same. So you go first go and work. You have been working with local government. First work there for maybe 6 years. It will take you back to city high school. So they posted me to the school.
Oh, that's how you
That's
came
how
here.
I came here. But
Was it missing city high school?
Not was because my intention is I have no intention in the school.
Yes.
So my work behavior that can help me grow a school. But I have no. Today, if you ask me which school do you want to go to,
You go anywhere.
I can go anywhere. I cannot say take me to Budo, take me to.
So anyway, you will germinate.
Yes, everywhere. So long as it is within Uganda here. Because I worked up country, now I need to work close to my home and my ancestral home for the ancestral blessings and so on.
Yes. So teacher, it was a pleasure having you this morning as we discussed a few things that are happening. You seem to have a very organized office. Thank you for this wonderful office.
Everywhere I've been, there have been good offices.
Sure, maybe my cameraman can actually show us this arrangement and
Yes.
we show it to the viewers. I would love to move out and check on some of the things and then you show us this and the other. Yes.
Beautify the floor that it matches with their smartness. However temporary it is, you can look at the students, they are smart. So papyrus does not stop them from being smart and does not stop them from scoring 20 points.
Good morning, girls and boys. How are you?
So this is senior 6 science, who have no excuse that they don't have a good learning environment. Now we are trying to compare these ones who are now in the fully fledged classroom and those who are in the papyrus. Those in papyrus scored 18 points and above.
Should go beyond that.
These ones I think should strike the maximum. Hey, do you have an excuse? Eh?
Good morning to you.
Good morning. You know, God sends us to serve. And to serve beyond self.
Yes.
Whatever we do is not for our own, it is for the glory of God. And God rewards us. Government, well, other people can disappoint us, but God cannot disappoint. So when we know that, everybody who is a leader will work for the development and transformation of his or her school.